Now, the latest from a mass shooting in Texas where 5 people are dead and at least 20 are injured. And community members are working together to bring attention to the opioid crisis here in Wisconsin and beyond. Plus, it's move-in day. The class of 2023 is starting their college experiences at the UW.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thanks for joining News 3 Now at 10. I'm Amanda Quintana. Police say at least 5 people were killed and more than 20 injured in Texas shootings that erupted after a traffic stop. The shooter was later killed near a movie theater in the city of Odessa. CBS News' Kenneth Craig has the details.
Authorities say the shootings unfolded in the West Texas cities of Odessa and Midland on Saturday, leaving a trail of victims.
We have at least 21 victims, 21 shooting victims, and at least 5 deceased at this point in time.
The gunman was killed later in a shootout with police at a movie theater. Police say the attacks began with a traffic stop on a highway and the driver shot at an officer. The suspect stole a postal truck and began firing randomly.
An exchange of gunfire happened and that subject is deceased at that location. This was a joint effort by just a multitude of departments to find this animal and bring him to justice.
A bystander caught on video the moments before the suspect was killed.
Texas. Oh God, they're shooting right there. Oh, he hits the barrier. Get out, get out, get out.
Get out, get out, get out, get out.
Stand still. He's shooting him, he's shooting him. Oh, he killed him, he killed him.
We're just seeing people.
CBS affiliate KOSA was on the air broadcasting from a local mall when they were forced to evacuate during the frantic search for the gunman. Police said they are still searching for a motive. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
3 officers were shot in that rampage. Their conditions were not immediately disclosed. Texas Governor Greg Abbott says he will be traveling to Odessa tomorrow. Let's turn it over to Dave Caulfield with your first alert forecast. Dave, not too bad of a day.
No, not really. We had the clouds in place and a couple of showers throughout the day. We're still seeing a few light rain showers close to the state line tonight, and we can expect that activity to continue for the most part over the next couple of hours, and then starting to really see it diminish into our Sunday, and we should be dry for the rest of the holiday weekend. In Madison on the WISC-TV Skycam, looking at mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures have fallen into the upper 50s in the Dells and in Watertown, Juneau as well. 60 even in Madison and 61 in Janesville. Those dew points have been dry basically all day, and they remain in the lower 50s in Madison, maybe a little bit more humid closer to Platteville. Your day planner as we head into our Sunday, temperatures falling into the 50s overnight. A couple of rain showers possible over the next few hours, especially south of Madison. Then we should be dry for much of Sunday. Highs in the mid-70s as that sunshine peaks out a little bit by the afternoon hours. We'll talk about the last real feeling like summer day on the 10-day forecast, plus a cool down on the way in your first alert forecast in just a few minutes.
Thank you, Dave. More local news now. Madison police are investigating a disturbance near Olbrich Park. Dane County Dispatch says the call came in just after 6 o'clock tonight. Officials say a person was allegedly waving a gun near the park. Officers say around 50 people from 2 separate parties started a fight, and people told officers a man waved a gun. Several people were cited for battery, but no weapons were found. Today is International Overdose Awareness Day, and throughout this week, we've shared with you how drug overdoses have impacted people in our community. A white flag display with hundreds of flags along Atwood Avenue proves how many lives this affects so close to home. Jamie Perez joins us from where a ceremony at that display just wrapped up. Jamie, what was tonight all about?
You know, it was a really emotional ceremony here tonight, Amanda. About 200 people all gathered here at Olbrich Park to remember the hundreds of lives that have been lost to drug overdoses in our community, and they were really using tonight to spread the message that we need to find a way to end this. The Lieutenant Governor was the first to speak tonight about the fact that substance use and its effects do not discriminate. You could see that tonight from the people who were here and the diversity of those that this has impacted. Now, he also mentioned that addiction is an illness and not a crime. One of the most moving speeches tonight tonight came from Judge and Reverend Everett Mitchell. He emphasized that we have an opportunity to create a better narrative for our loved ones, and that as a recovering alcoholic himself, this is something that should matter to everyone because it can happen to anyone.
I believe people need to be heard. They need to be listened to. They need to be understood. They need to be cared for. They need people to advocate for them and say that the system has to be better and that we have to do more than what we have done in order to get the best results for our human beings, our families, our friends, the people in our communities that matter the most.
The ceremony tonight ended with a candlelight walk through these white flags where people were able to place a candle by their loved one, and this was obviously a very emotional end to the night. The one thing that people walked away from this knowing is that they have a sense of community and knowing that they are not alone and that there are people out there that are working to stop this and making sure that anybody who goes through this and is involved in this epidemic gets the help that they need.
Jamie, thank you so much. A $200,000 cash bond is set for a man charged with randomly stabbing and killing a Madison man. Amando Lang appeared in court for the first time today. Lang told police he was in the FBI and that he attacked 49-year-old Ben Christensen because he was going to try to murder his family. Family members told police Lang had stopped taking his medication recently and has shown bouts of anger. 2 people have serious injuries following a motorcycle crash in Dodge County. Officials responded to a report of a crash around 3 o'clock today. Deputies say a 58-year-old man and 46-year-old female were on a motorcycle traveling eastbound on Highway 33 near the township of Herman. Both were ejected when the bike's rear tire blew. Both were not wearing helmets and were transported to the UW hospital with life-threatening injuries. A man is in jail after hitting a person crossing the street in Madison early this morning. Officials say a 34-year-old man was walking across East Washington at Hancock Street when a car hit him. Police say the driver, 27-year-old Sean Howard, had not stopped and continued to the Capitol Square. He finally stopped after hitting 2 more cars that were parked on Union Street. Witnesses tell police they saw Howard take the license plates off of his car before running away. He was later arrested at an East Side residence. A new round of tariffs goes into effect at midnight. There will be a 15% tariff on $112 billion of Chinese goods. John Blackstone has more on how consumers can expect to feel the impact on everything from milk to diapers to sports equipment.
At Classic Toys in Los Angeles, owner Dawn Queen is spending Labor Day weekend stocking up, hoping to soften the blow of new tariffs.
I'm buying as much items as I can right now before it does happen, and I'm even working harder and longer hours to make up for it.
Toys are among the thousands of products caught up in the U.S.-China trade war. The additional tariffs come in 2 rounds. The first, starting tomorrow, could hit consumers directly.
As the trade war escalates, there's the risk of more pain being felt by Americans.
David French with the National Retail Federation says the 15% tariffs will raise prices for American families and hurt the economy.
We're talking, about the potential for millions of lost jobs, less investment, slower GDP growth, unemployment, higher prices. I mean, this is a perfect storm.
President Trump is standing firm on tariffs.
No, they're on. They're on.
Well, I've gotten about 6 notices from my suppliers already warning me that the prices will be going up.
Toys are part of the second wave of tariffs delayed until December 15th. That may keep prices from rising for holiday shopping, but not forever.
So I'm holding off as long as I can in regards to raising prices.
So far, new tariffs have mostly impacted big industries, but now consumers and small businesses will be on the trade war's front lines. A campaign encouraging Midwestern millennials to move to Wisconsin is slated to continue despite a lack of funding in the state budget. Governor Tony Evers declined to grant the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation's $10 million request over the next 2 years. The campaign began early last year under the control of former Governor Scott Walker. WISC officials say the organization has found $4 million to fund the program the next few years. The campaign aims to attract workers ages 21 to 35 in science, technology, healthcare, and financial services. New UW students started moving into the dorms on campus this morning. The class of 2023 moves in this weekend in residence halls that they were assigned to back in June. Some students have been moving in during recent days for trainings or orientation activities, but it's safe to say they're excited for this next chapter in their lives.
Obviously, there's a little bit of anxiety involved, a lot of new things going on in life, but I think by and large, I'm really just excited to start a new chapter in my life, move in here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison, kind of just have a new experience, meet some new people, have some new friends, you know, just get an education. That's kind of the big thing.
Some students are also moving into the newly renovated Whitty Hall, which underwent a 2.5-year, $53 million renovation. UW Housing will start renovations on Celery Hall next summer, including joining the two towers together and adding 2 floors. Thousands are enjoying the tastes of Madison tonight. The festival started in 1983 and features food from more than 80 restaurants, 3 live entertainment stages, and more than 20 beverage stands. The free event also raises money for local nonprofit and charitable organizations. Taste of Madison officials say they donate more than $60,000 annually to help the community. Still to come on News 3 Now at 10, how some utility workers in our area are preparing to help with the aftermath of Hurricane Dorian. As Hurricane Dorian makes its way toward the East Coast, people living in Florida and the Carolinas are preparing for the storm's damage. Gabriela Becerra shares how volunteers from Wisconsin are ready to lend a helping hand.
Right now, along the southeast coast, people are preparing for Hurricane Dorian, which is expected to bring torrential damage.
Power outages and storm surge with flooding that could affect millions of people for days.
You need to take preparations for this storm if you haven't already.
While here in Wisconsin, 27 crew members from Municipal Electric Utilities of Wisconsin are preparing to help fix downed power lines.
We're going to be restoring power.
From Vanguard Electric in Black Earth, Sean Dilley is one of the workers who will put in 16-hour days in hopes of speeding along the recovery process.
Yeah, change out a pole is probably depending on the pole, 4 or 5 hours. Some poles can take a day, depending how busy the pole is.
2 years ago, Dilley volunteered to go to Florida for Hurricane Irma recovery.
We got to experience the wrath of a hurricane then, and got kind of made us appreciate what we got back here as far as we don't have to deal with a hurricane, and going a couple weeks without air conditioning in 100-degree weather is a little rough on people.
So this time he knows better what to expect.
Got to make sure our safety equipment's all ready to go. Just different terrain, different weather.
Although different climates, Dilly said the flooding Black Earth experienced last year helps them relate to what they'll see in Florida.
We've seen it firsthand, a disaster in our own towns, so we kind of, I guess, feel for other people in their towns that lose as much as what they've lost here.
And because of that, Dilly says he appreciates neighbors helping neighbors.
We take a lot of pride in it. It's kind of neat. We're away from home, away from our families, and it's kind of nice giving back to other people's communities and seeing the relief they get from us putting their power back on.
Gabriella Becerra, News 3 Now.
The crews are leaving tomorrow morning for Florida, but they could be adjusting their path as the storm veers away from the state. Let's get a look at your first alert weather with Dave Caulfield. Dave, I know you've been paying close attention to Dorian as well.
Yeah, Dorian is a very, very strong Category 4 storm. We just got the latest update from the National Hurricane Center. Still with max winds of about 150 miles per hour. That pressure has dropped to 940 millibars and still moving to the west at 8 miles per hour. You could see kind of the path of this storm so far and how fast it intensified from a 2 to a 3 and a 4. Now it's a very strong Category 4 storm. Here is the latest update with the track. We've had a couple more forecast models bring this a little bit farther east. Still the trend is for it to stay offshore. Unfortunately for the Bahamas, there's just no missing those islands, it looks like, for the next 24 to 48 hours or so. And then the path still a little bit murky. A lot of uncertainty when it comes to exactly if this thing will make a official U.S. landfall or not. Regardless, the storm surge is going to be a major problem across much of the southeastern United States. Also some very, very strong winds and some heavy rainfall, especially as it gets closer to the Carolinas, is possible. We'll keep our eyes on that. It's a big, big weather story. We had a little bit of rain across southern Wisconsin, transitioning a little bit closer to home here as we went through our Saturday afternoon, but really not too much in the way of rainfall today. More clouds than anything else, and that was what we were expecting today. A couple of nuisance raindrops did overcome that dry air that was around today and hopefully didn't ruin any outdoor plans this afternoon, and we could see a few more showers over the next couple of hours, but I really think that as we get pretty quickly into Sunday morning across southern Wisconsin, we will probably be dry, and the rest of the holiday weekend is looking dry as well. So that's good news. I think the best day to kind of savor the last gasp of summer will be on Monday, Labor Day proper, when temperatures are near 80 and we should get plenty of sunshine back. Madison, the Edgewater Skycam, mostly cloudy skies tonight. And we saw mostly cloudy skies today as well, with temperatures in the lower 70s. So that kept those temperatures at bay a little bit, about 5 degrees below normal. Already down to 60 in Madison, 61 in Janesville, and 59 in Monroe. Those dew points still pretty comfortable in the low 50s, a little bit more humidity closer to southwestern Wisconsin. Temperatures will be warming up over the next couple of days, with highs in the low 80s for Monday on Labor Day, and Tuesday with some showers and thunderstorms possible. But look at that cold front. Look what it does to those temperatures, with plenty of sunshine Wednesday and Thursday, highs right around 70 degrees. Overnight, we'll dip into the 50s, mostly cloudy, a slight chance of a quick shower or two. Then as we head into tomorrow, we should be dry for much of Sunday, a little bit milder as well, with highs in the mid-70s. So on future track, any showers I think really are going to stay south of Madison, closer to the state line. Into portions of northern Illinois. We should be dry on Sunday. The bad news is, folks, we have mostly cloudy skies tonight, and it looks like Future Track is painting mostly cloudy skies on Sunday night as well. So that would really dampen our chances of seeing any northern lights. Obviously, the better chances are going to be farther north of Madison, but still, I would still give it the old college try over the next couple of days. It's a holiday weekend after all, so hopefully you get some time at night to see those northern lights. But we will see that sunshine return as we head into the middle of the week, with temperatures in the upper 60s and lower 70s before a few more thunderstorms are possible by Friday.
All right. Thank you so much, Dave. The Brewers get one back from the Cubs. Highlights coming up next in sports.
Well, today at 3 o'clock Central, all NFL teams having to make their final decisions for their respective 53-man roster. The Packers letting go of Deshaun Kaiser, presumably giving Tim Boyle the backup job to Aaron Rodgers. And both Natrell Jamerson and Olive Sagapolu, the former Badgers, will release from the Packers today. So here are the guys that are staying, some of the more impactful ones. Rookie running back Dexter Williams will be the third running back behind Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams. Wide receiver Darius Shepard, who has a wonderful story here. The rookie out of North Dakota State went undrafted. Didn't get any free agency signings, but was invited to a tryout with the Packers and has made the roster. Some former Badgers making their rosters. Alec Ingold beating out the competition on the Raiders. He has made the 53-man roster, as well as TJ Edwards. He's got a spot on the Eagles. And Dakota Dixon starting the season on the injured reserve with a shoulder injury, but he has made the Buccaneers roster as well. Well, if you didn't believe the hype about Jonathan Taylor, you probably just became a believer last night if you saw it with your own two eyes. Everyone from Reggie Bush to Russell Wilson to Patrick Mahomes tweeting JT for Heisman last night in the first 32 minutes of the season. He scored 4 touchdowns, 2 rushing and 2 catches, helping Wisconsin beat South Florida 49-0 to start the season off. JT has been working on catching the ball over the summer and throughout fall camp, and he's proving that that extra time and effort was well worth it.
Making sure that I got everyone going around me, stepping into more of a leadership role this year, so I felt like it was more of my job to make sure everybody else was going instead of just making sure that I was ready to go. It finally feels great to see the hard work pay off. A lot of my teammates know, I've been working day in and day out in order to have this come to life on the field, so it really felt good tonight.
Plenty of opportunities to see JT and the Badgers at home, actually until October, because the next 5 games are at Camp Randall with a bye week early on. Kickoff times for Northwestern and Kent State have not yet been determined, so stay tuned. Other Big Ten action today, Ryan Day making his official debut as head coach of Ohio State, hosting Florida Atlantic. Justin Fields starting for the Buckeyes, the transfer from Georgia, with a fast start early in the first quarter, 51 yards down the left for 6. Later, showing off the arm as well to a wide open Jeremy Ruckert, 14-0 Buckeyes. No problems for Ohio State today, 45-21 the final. A little different story in Lincoln. Huskers hosting South Alabama, and Scott Frost's guys needing some time to get rolling. We pick it up in the second. South Alabama quarterback Cephas Johnson, Eric Lee Jr. with a 38-yard pick 6. Nebraska up 21-7. And the defense really keeping them in this game. Again, Johnson fumbling for South Alabama. Alex Davis scoops and scores, 35-21 Nebraska. That would be the final. Elsewhere in the Big Ten, Indiana scraping by Ball State by 10. The kicker making 4 field goals in the Hoosiers' effort. And Maryland with a big shutout victory over in-state HBC school Howard. Quarterback Josh Jackson throwing for 4 touchdowns. And the Fighting Lovie Smiths, no problems against Akron with Brandon Peters, the Michigan grad transfer, throwing for 163 yards. And Stanford getting some revenge on Northwestern. Meanwhile, James Franklin taking no prisoners, Penn State obliterating Ohio. And Michigan fighting off Middle Tennessee State in Ann Arbor, 40-21 the final score. Meanwhile, the Brewers putting Keston Hiura on the injured list. He'll be out for at least 2 weeks after he limped off of the field last night. Official diagnosis is a hamstring strain. Meanwhile, Ben Gamble and Travis Shaw have been recalled from AAA as the Brew Crew trying to recover from yesterday's 7-1 loss at Wrigley. Some battles on the mound this afternoon, though, between Zach Davies and Cole Hamels. Therefore, not a lot of highlights in this one, offensively speaking. Manny Pena getting the Brewers up early to shallow center there, that hit. But enough for, again, Ben Gamble and Christian Yelich to cross home plate, 2-0 Brewers. That would be the final. Rubber match tomorrow with Gio Gonzalez and Yu Darvish starting on the mound. Finally tonight, the Badgers volleyball team with its 2nd straight sweep. 5th-ranked Wisconsin beat North Carolina at the ACC Big Ten Challenge in Chapel Hill. Dana Retke leading the team offensively for the 2nd match in a row with 18 kills. The Badgers will open their home season this Thursday at the Fieldhouse, hosting 16th-ranked Marquette at 7 p.m. If you haven't been out yet to the Fieldhouse for a volleyball game, definitely worth it. It is loud, it gets crazy, it's a great atmosphere.
I haven't yet, and last year I really wanted to.
No,
so
you have to.
Now's the time.
Yes.
All right, we'll be right back. The Wisconsin Cow Chip Festival started yesterday, and today the chips were chucked. Some throwers licked their fingers before tossing the cow chips. Odd, while others went with more of a traditional frisbee throw. Each contestant chose 2 cow chips, and the farthest one was the only one that counted. Gloves were not allowed when throwing, and all chips needed to be at least 6 inches in diameter. Officials say around 40,000 to 50,000 people come to the festival and the Tournament of Chips Parade, and all vendors at the Cow Chip Festival in Parade to Sac are nonprofits.
That's something.
It's interesting. It definitely seems like a tradition, just not one I want to partake in.
I mean, as someone who recently came into the world of handling, shall we say, cow chips, I don't want any more. Yeah,
not of that
child
size.
chips.
Yeah,
yeah.
Say, not of that size.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
but
fun
good.
to watch.
Good for everybody. A fun time was had by all. Hopefully, I don't think we saw any rain showers up that way today. We are seeing a couple still in portions of Rock and Walworth County. I think that gets out of here over the next couple of hours. Temperatures will dip into the mid-50s for tonight. 7 to 10 day forecast showing a real last day of summer for now, looking like Monday for Labor Day.
All right. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.